but I've got some anti-aircraft units. And they're shooting at the flak truck. That's not good. And Tanya, look, she's doing... Yeah, killed her, but she was doing a lot of damage, firing rapidly. I don't know how I cut through all that. Now the helicopters are coming in to do the finishing blow. Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder, it's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game. This one's on elevation map. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using England for this game. This is my 4th game of the day actually, I had an earlier start today. And this is my choice game so far to post. I'm in the bottom left in red. My opponent's got this yellowish colour. He's in England. I've got a rifleman. Oh, that was a great start, wasn't it? Right. I'm sending 2 riflemen out either side of my oil derrick to guard it. And also, once the engineer's secure and got some other riflemen, these guys will move forward, and there are 2 on either side. So if they bump into single riflemen, they'll deal with them. I shot a civilian in case you're wondering what that was. And my opponent's got his capture underway and his engineer reasonably well covered. I won't get through with a couple of rifles there. I've got my capture underway now. My opponent shot the barrels. By the looks of that, yeah. And I fired at them thinking they were still there. Yeah, I got a couple of guys, at least. But my opponent has escaped with the engineer. I didn't get anywhere near him, really. And he's covered there. I've gone for the observatory. Communication centre, I should say. I've got a few rifles back at base. Yeah, my opponent has got a couple of rifles. There's one for a start in the right place. My engineer's delaying the capture. There you go, he's going for that. My opponent's got the forward command there, and I often wondered about placing a refinery here, and one here, and the 3rd refinery here. So, because even though you've only got 2 at your home base, you get a nice little boost in standard income from the gem patch, you see. So, I was thinking about that. This time I've gone for a standard build pattern, but I was thinking about it after I'd done that, after I'd placed 2 refineries here already. My opponent's building a war factory, so why so delayed? Strange. Right, I've got the communication centre, and now my engineer is going into the APC. I'm going to secure this. I've got some basic rifle guards in place. My opponent's got a ranger. No engineer in there. They've captured the communication centre. And their engineer is there back at the base. I was worried about my engineer here at this point. I thought, well, why wouldn't my opponent check there? And they didn't, but they got away with the ranger intact. They haven't done much scouting. They've got a ranger and light tank, and that's a nice combination. Yeah, my opponent's got 3 refineries at the home base anyway. It's just the way they set up the first one here and the second one here made me wonder if they were going to deploy one there. Obviously not. $6,000 each. My opponent's ahead in early army value. And that ranger will give them some excellent view range. Look, they can start picking off my troops. That's not good. There's my APC with grenadiers in. I've got my engineer back at base as well. There's enough basic rifles and units around to protect my base, but we have idle ore trucks. Regrowing as gems. Very nice. There's the APC. Yeah, a lot of players secure this first before mining from it. It's a useful backup. I've done the same, look, anyway. And there's my first expansion. My opponent is set up here. And they're having a good look around with the old ranger. And they've got plenty of medics about. There's a couple. A few there. More than... it's enough for that small starting army. Medium tanks, I've got my heavies joining the front line. I've got a couple. And there's the APC. And I wanted to distract the enemy before I used it. I wanted to attack somewhere first before I committed that. I should have just sent it in there. My opponent's got mechanics. There you go, they've got a radar dome. And there we go, I've got a force here, and my opponent's got a larger army than me. I'm at 16, they're at 18. And I've got very little protecting my base, although I have switched primary production here. So I'm now defending my base, and hopefully this will buy me a bit of time if they do attack. Yeah, look, my opponent's sending units out. They know where I am, and they've got artillery being produced. And now I'm up in this top corner. Sadly, there's no ore trucks there to destroy, and my APC is still in position. I should be using it now, because my opponent will be like, right, ordering all this, look. So this is the point, I should be using it. There you go, I've overrun that position, but there wasn't much, you know, really to do. And my opponent's lead is increasing. And there you go, I saw my opponent's response. Some nice flamethrowers, always effective. Keep the enemy suppressed, and then they're less effective in return. Oh, nice bit of damage. Almost evened out those army values, but now, look, I've got a problem, and it was the artillery that kept them in it, plus the view range of the helicopter. My APC's still there, so I've forgotten about it. That's a shame. And I thought, I'm going to fall back and try and make a... there you go, I've got my primary production here. I'm going to fall back and make a defensive position here so I can try and protect all this and this. While I thought I'm going to try and take the pressure off with an attack. It's not much of an army, but, you know, that's what I went for. My opponents, you've got an even greater lead now. I'm at 16,000, they're at 20,000. Now my opponent's got Tanya, as well as artillery and helicopters. Crunch. Those shells are coming in. And look, we've got a force here. Light tanks scouting. Look at that, I'm ready. Very nice. Now, I'm taking out some units and ore trucks. Oh, look, spies. My opponent, look at that. Easy to camouflage them as my units. Interesting, and there's 3 more spies there. So they are ordered to go this way, look. And I'm pressing my attack. Trying to find the artillery. I got a couple of them. And I've seen Tanya, look, I'm taking some shots, but I can't focus fire on one unit like that and still fight. And look, there's my enemy's spies. And my opponent doesn't look like they're pursuing, they're regrouping. I'm at 14,000 army value, my opponent's at 22, so I know I'm in trouble here because my attacks have been stopped. Look, there's all these spies, but they haven't found any resources yet, although they've got access to a power plant and barracks. I wonder if they've already infiltrated the barracks. Now, you see, I'm not attacking anymore, I've fallen back, but I'm building up here, and my opponent's got units up there waiting for an eco-raid. So if we look at economy, we've both got very little in the way of cash, so my opponent's choosing the right time for him to... There you go, he's infiltrated, and again, but he's only getting 250 back, because that's the cost of his spy. So he knows he's wasting he's only getting the money back for the... Oh, I've run him over. And now he's infiltrated my power, shut my power down, until that yellow bar goes, I'm in low power, plus he's infiltrated a barracks. So I'm in low power and producing more slowly, and he's infiltrated a barracks, so his units, his infantry will be produced as veterans. And 17,000 army value to me, 25,000 to my opponent. But I've got some anti-aircraft units, and they're shooting at the flak truck. That's not good. And Tanya, look, she's doing... Yeah, killed her, but she was doing a lot of damage, firing rapidly. I don't know how I cut through all that. Now the helicopters are coming in to do the finishing blow, but I've got an aircraft now, and I'm thinking, right, I need to take out some of that artillery, and the tank is still hanging in there. There you go, there's one artillery piece strafed, and this plane is just hanging about. And there you go, there's two strafed, and my engineer's capturing this, but my opponent has spotted him, sadly. Nice try. Got him. Yeah, fair enough. Right. Now, my opponent's expanded down here. I still haven't set up a refinery there, but I'm at 10,000 army value. My opponent's at 18,000 army value. So the gap is increasing, and I can't crack my opponent's defences. Now I've got V2s, aircraft, a couple of aircraft now, but at this point I've got very few tanks, and I need to replace them before I can even try an attack. Look, my opponent, I bet their income is okay. Yeah, over 9. And they've got over 5 grand, that's nice. So now they've infiltrated, I wanted to do some infiltrations of my own. I thought, that's it's a cheeky using spies, and it was nice and early, I wasn't expecting them. There's my spy plane, and it's produced Tanya. And she's been trained as a vet, there's another spy. And she's been trained as a veteran because my enemy has infiltrated my barracks. So I know they've got a good air force, but now I've got 3 aircraft. That's enough to knock out a refinery. Well, I'm looking for a vulnerable target and a place to infiltrate. Now look how vulnerable all this is. They've been going on their eco-raid, those tanks, just 2 measly tanks. So I'm bringing these ore trucks away, look. Looks like one of them's going to be run down, but I've got my own thieves now. Because my cash situation is not great. Look, I've got 1 ore truck up there. These ore trucks are running. Taken 1 out, and here you go, my planes are leading the way for scouting, but I can't get knocked out by that AA gun. But the AA, they were in range, but it didn't have view range, so it couldn't see them. So even if you're in range of an AA gun, it won't shoot you until another unit reveals your air units for it. Something has to spot for the AA gun because it's got a very short view range. Now, I've lost a V2 immediately, but my other V2 is firing at that Conyard. Look, my opponent's got spies, and they're disguised as my troops. And I've lost a a thief. The other thief's under fire from technicians and dead. So that's 1,000 just from those useless units. There's some infiltrations. Yes, my opponent got some decent money out of that, I think. Maybe not, there's 4 there. Maybe they didn't infiltrate, but I'm having to fight here. This is where my attention is. And my V2 is handy. It's a veteran. Look, I'm picking out targets nicely. And my aircraft, I'm saving them for the right moment, and there you go, targeting their artillery, and I've got the numbers. definitely. I've had the numbers all game, I just haven't been able to use them. But I seem to slowly be pushing the enemy back. There you go, targeting the power plants. That's a radar jammer. I'm sure... Right, there you go, is an infiltration. A lot of money. And again, over £1,000. And this one is going for my barracks. I don't know why he would do that. He's already got infiltration on my barracks, so there's no point in doing that. And I've been stopped here. And I'm thinking that, what? Really bad luck. I've been really badly fleeced for cash by spies. And now I'm at 12,000 army value, but I've done damage to my opponent. They're at 14,000. So not too bad. Now they've got Apache longbows. They can shoot down air units, and they're very dangerous against
satellite initialized.
Against all trucks. They can just slaughter them. I've got 3 aircraft, but they'll have to stay away from those Apaches. And there's a thief. So now I'm trying to regroup my army, and we're almost even. 17,000 army value, 18 to 20 now in my opponent's favour. And there's an engineer, been neglected, and he's going to die. So that's 400 wasted. I've dropped off these paratroopers here just to protect my expansion here, because there's 2 mines, so leaving an ore truck there is worth it. Now I'm getting anti-aircraft vehicles, flak trucks, and here's my opponent's attack. I'm at 20,000, my opponent's at 22,000 army value. And I've got this force, but I'm going to have to regroup everything, group everything together, and look, there's this attack. Lost an ore truck straight away. And I'm repairing that, look. That's good. They get repaired very quickly because they're so lightly armoured. And there, I saw these longbows, and they're fast. Look, it's going to shoot down my aircraft. Missiles, anti-aircraft missiles, destroyed my other aircraft, and now they're destroying the airfield. It's drawn their attention, but my units can't catch them, they're fast. So I'm going to have to press on and attack. And I've got this here, I've placed a tester coil luckily, and I've got a few units, but I need primary production there. This is a decent force with these tanks. If well microed and well managed, this force is dangerous because it's got a radar jammer to protect the tanks, and if the tanks are microed, it'll protect that small amount of infantry. So it's dangerous. Look, it's well protected from thieves, infiltrations, these refineries look. Very well protected from captures and stuff. But I saw the artillery shells coming in straight away and thought, nah, I've got to do something. And thought, luckily, there's not much there, look. I shouldn't have sent these all in one clump. Look, the Apaches firing at my tanks. Ouch. And there you go, I lost all but 1 thief. So that's 2,000 I've just lost from those. Look at, they're all veterans. Oh, look, I should have gone for that. But here we are, and my opponent hasn't moved them. And there's Tanya. And I'm firing at Tanya. Flak trucks probably did her in. And my thief is gone. My opponent's got another MCV, look, but they haven't got enough units here to defeat me, I don't think. You know, one there, and there's another plane. 1 rocket soldier wasn't enough. Now my opponent's remembered this force. Lot more spies. Nasty. We're both so hard up for cash. Oh, he's getting a lot of value in infantry incinerated, mechanics, medics, stuff like that had got incinerated. That's a lot of value you can't afford. And I've got free range, and I saw these spies, I saw all this and thought, look, if he's not stopping me, he's done. And I saw this force, look, I've got more than enough to stop it now. And I left these here to protect that. And then moved them out. I was thinking of attacking here. There's 2 more spies. And my opponent's moving down there, look. But I'm actually attacking. Got my power back. There, look, there's a spy. And my opponent's got a few grand. Those spies are there. And I've still got, I'm free to finish my opponent's base off. He's just waiting for infiltration slowly, putting them in one at a time. That's so well done. Being, you know, having the patience and the restraint not to just send it in. He's waiting for me to build up a bit of cash. That's an eco raid, a nice one. So I've got 6 ore trucks, my opponent's got 3 now. And I'm bringing thieves. Look, he's got 3 war factories. Whoa. Now I'm killing those spies. There's another destroyed Apache. They're expensive. A very expensive unit to lose. These guys can't afford to hang about. They should have destroyed these power plants. It's essential that they keep destroying things and don't have idle units, but he's probably seen the size of this force and, you know, he knows what's coming. My thieves, I was looking for refineries up here. Should have just stolen that light tank. See ya. And there you go, my opponent's got access to my base now. I've got 3 war factories of my own. So, there. And while this was happening, I'll try and capture that. Look, I'm still attacking, and I've left this structure intact, so I'm going to have to destroy it. You can't leave structures intact. I could lose the game by leaving that intact. There you go, I've lost my thieves. But there you go, I placed my iron curtain, look, by accident, right next to this attack. I was like, right, that's irritating. But my opponent's being smashed. There you go, lost my iron curtain. So as soon as I placed it. You know, just shows you how... They're still getting infiltrations, but I'm out of cash. So, you know, have at it. And my opponent's called it as I'm attacking his power plants. That is charming, that is, if you pick that up. He's still attacking here, but now I'm defending it more effectively, look, base defense and primary production, look. But my opponent called it and their units died, because when you surrender, everything dies. You know, so there you go, there's that game. It was over nearly 22 minutes, that one. A good battle, and most of the way through, I thought there's no way I could win that. It was getting a little bit demoralising, but luckily, I didn't get down. I didn't let it get me down, and I kept at it. And my plan quickly became aircraft and iron curtain. Now, obviously, I completely fluffed the iron curtain, messed that up, but, you know, at least I got there, and that. So, luckily, I didn't need it, thankfully. But it was a bit amateurish to see the iron curtain destroyed like that. But it happens, you know, and I'd won. I knew it was over. My opponent wasn't coming back from that. But those infiltrations, he got a lot of credits out of me. I got a little out of him. No, I don't even know. I can't even remember what I got, infiltrations-wise, if any. I think I got a couple down here or something. But yeah, my opponent did very well. Those spies disguised as my troops marching across the battlefield like that. It's not how I use them myself, but maybe I should be. Spies, I disguise them as my own troops, so my opponent's not fussed about riflemen approaching their base mixed with other riflemen. They don't. But if they see their own infantry approaching a refinery, they'll sell it. But I'll just go through the graphs and charts and that for you. There's the army graph. Look, I was behind. It was just, obviously, that fight there. It was probably the point where I overran my opponent here, moved north into their base, and got defeated at this expansion. That's probably that bit there. And it was a decent force that overran the enemy here, and they retreated and then defeated me, and I had to fall back. That's probably that point. But look how far ahead my opponent was for nearly the entire game. So they did very well. They just couldn't, with those tactics, couldn't quite finish me off. They should have used larger attacks. You know, they could have done just as well using a few less units in defence. There's the earnings. Look, there's some spikes. And that. These are probably infiltration spikes, but my opponent's infiltration spikes aren't as obvious and exaggerated because they probably had more cash most of the time, and when they were infiltrating they had more cash, whereas my 1 or 2 has caused these spikes. So, very interesting earnings graph. And my finishing army, there's plenty of heavy tanks. Look at that. I think that's 14. And a flak truck, a thief. And not many infantry. The old infantry had a hard time in this game. But I've got a 23,000 army value. Did I have any aircraft left? It does not look like it. No aircraft, sadly. But 23,000 army value is not bad. I lost 10 structures, but my opponent lost 28. And I killed 310 units. My opponent killed 375. Very nice. And I destroyed 131,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 105,000 credits worth of my assets. Support powers, I did have them. I was using the spy plane and paratroops. I dropped some here. But my opponent used those Apaches to destroy my air force and then destroy my airfields. Excellent. Very, very good. Using their air force to destroy mine. It was just I would have liked to have seen some more eco-raids from those Apaches. That might have finished me off. Because my opponent used 2 tanks to stop this lot mining up here. They wouldn't have had to apply much more pressure to have, you know, done serious damage to my economy. There's production, still building refineries, and I am not surprised. Flame towers and infantry and economy. I've hung on to an oil derrick. There you go. And I kept my comm centre and my forward command. And I've got 6 ore trucks at the end. Let's have a look. I earned 164,000 credits. My opponent earned 145,000 credits. Interesting. Got a bit of cash left each. And I was at 29 actions per minute. My opponent was at 37 actions per minute. There's your scores. 1289 to me. 1766 to my opponent. So I won, but my opponent got a better score. That's quite rare. So if we look at combat, but I've destroyed 131,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. They've destroyed 105,000 credits worth of mine. They haven't got that many more units killed. I've destroyed more structures. That's interesting for them to have. You know, they're like nearly 500 points ahead of me. That's a bit puzzling. Fair play to them. I know they did well, but yeah, to have such a superior score to me after losing, well, it shows you how well they did, and it was a great game. I really enjoyed that. The game's like where you have to really try hard, and I thought I'd lost most of the way through, but I wasn't giving up. Not having that. If I'm losing, my opponent's got to win. I'm not losing the game without them winning. They've got to win it, if you get what I mean. I'm not going to give up. But there you go. There's the stats and graphs and charts. I hope you enjoyed that game as much as I did, because that was a fun, very difficult, challenging game, which is what I like. That's what I want. I don't want my opponent to just be slack and having a laugh and not really care. I want them to care and enjoy it and have a good game and try. So there's a challenge, and that certainly was a challenging game. But if you enjoyed what you saw, give us a sub and a like, and thank you very much for watching. Take good care of yourselves, and until my next post, thank you and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.